Shalom, family. This is Elder Jenkins with the King James Bible University. And I want to speak to you on the topic, I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob. Family, we know just as in the days of Moses, it was a mixed multitude he was trying to bring through the wilderness. Just as today, it's a mixed multitude of people. Some unbelievers and some believers. Some thinking they have the true doctrine, not realizing that they're worshiping other gods. But in spite of all of that, in spite of all what we see on television, in spite of all of the news reports and the distractions that we get from every side, all of the smoke streams and all of the wars and the fighting against countries and all of these different things that we see going on to get our attention, all of the pandemics and the things that make people fearful and cause them to make reckless decisions. The stock market going up and down when folks wanting to take their own lives because their whole retirement was wiped out. In spite of all of what we see going on in this world, the Most High is saying today, I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob. We have to always remain focused, set our treasures in heavenly places on things above and not things here on this earth. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this teaching. Once again, this is Elder Jenkins with the King James Bible University. And it's my prayer that someone will be richly edified through the message as we allow the precepts of the Most High God of Israel to minister to us. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this teaching in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 5, verses 1 through 4. He says, run ye to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem, and see now and know and seek in the broad places thereof, if ye can find a man, a male or female, if there be any that executed judgment, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon it. And though they say the Spirit of God liveth, surely they swear falsely. O Spirit of God, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return. Therefore I said, surely these are poor. They are lacking knowledge. They are destitute of the truth. They are foolish. For they know not the way of the Spirit of God, nor the judgment, meaning nor the doctrine and teaching of their God, meaning of their guide. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 1 through 7. He says, I am sought of them that ask not of me, and I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me, meaning remember me, unto a nation that was not called by my name. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts. A people that provoked me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificed it in gardens and burned incense upon altars of brick, which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine flesh, they learning all these unclean doctrines, and broth of abominable things is in their vessels, which say, stand by thyself, come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. Behold, it is written before me, I will not keep silence, but will recompense, even recompense into their bosom. Your iniquities and the iniquities of your fathers together, said the Spirit of God, which have burned incense upon the mountains. In other words, they was praying and worshiping to other gods. He said, and blaspheme me upon the hills. Therefore will I measure their former work into their bosom. That's what I'm going to do. Exodus chapter 34, verse 1 through 10. He says, and the Spirit of God said unto Moses, unto the word of truth, hew thee 2 tables of stones, like unto the first. And I will write upon these tables the words that were in the first tables, which thou breakest. And be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present thyself there to me in the top of the mount. And no man shall come up with thee, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount. Neither let the flocks nor herds feed before that mount. And he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first. And Moses rose up early in the morning and went up unto Mount Sinai, as the Spirit of God had commanded him, and took in his hand the 2 tables of stone, and the Spirit of God descended. And just for your notes, I want you to keep in mind that word descended, because we're going to come back to that. The Spirit of God descended. You can write that down. In the cloud, and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name, the way of the Spirit of God. And the Spirit of God passed by before him and proclaimed, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, unto the 3rd and to the 4th generation. See, this is what he just got through telling us. I'm going to pivot back there for a moment, because just the reason why we went here, he just showed us what he was going to do in Isaiah 65 and 7. He just got through telling us your iniquities and the iniquities of your fathers together, said the Spirit of God, which have burned incense upon the mountains and blasphemed me upon the hills. Therefore will I measure their former work into their bosom. So he's looking at the former work. So that's why we coming to Exodus. Now we're going to finish this out in Exodus chapter 34, down from 8 to 10. And it says, and Moses made haste and bowed his head toward the east and worship. And he said, if now I have found grace in thy sight, O Creator, let my Lord, I pray thee, go among us. For it is a stiff-necked people. And pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for thine inheritance. And he said, behold, I make a covenant before all thy people. I will do marvels such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation, and all the people among which thou art shall see the work of the Spirit of God. For it is a terrible thing that I will do with thee. So these marvels that he's talking about is nothing pleasant and pleasurable. He say, for it is a terrible thing that I will do in thee. Jeremiah chapter 9, and we'll hit verses 1 through 16. He said, oh, that my head were waters, and mine eyes a fountain of tears, that I might weep day and night for the slain of the daughter of my people. Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them. For they be all adulterers and assembly of treacherous men, and they bend their tongues like their bow, their mouthpieces, their prophets, their pastors, their teachers, for lies. But they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth. For they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, said the Spirit of God. Take ye heed, every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother, for every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. And they will deceive everyone his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity. Thine habitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit they refuse to know me, said the Spirit of God. Therefore thus said the Spirit of God of hosts, behold, I will melt them and try them. He's going to take us through the fire. For how shall I do for the daughter of my people? Their tongue is as an arrow shot out, speaking venom. It speaketh deceit. One speaketh peaceably to his neighbor with his mouth, but in heart he laid his weight. He's a deceiver. Shall I not visit them for these? Said the Spirit of God. Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? For the mountains will I take up a weeping and wailing, and for the habitations of the wilderness a lamentation, because they are burned up, so that none can pass through them. Neither can men hear the voice of the cattle. Both the fowl of the heavens and the beasts are fled. They are gone. And I will make Jerusalem heaps and a den of dragons. And I will make the cities of Judah desolate without inhabitant. Who is this wise man that may understand this? And who is he to whom the mouth of the Spirit of God hath spoken, that he may declare it? For what the land perish and is burned up like a wilderness, that none passeth through it. And the Spirit of God said, because they have forsaken my law, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, neither walked therein, but have walked after the imagination of their own heart, and after Balaam, which their fathers taught them. See, this is what a lot of us have went through. We have been taught these ways in these churches, supporting pastor anniversaries. We treating the pastor and his wife like they are a king and a queen. We've been taught to give our hard-earned money and to give it to the church, and it's a representation of we giving it to God, and we call it a tithe. We've been taught all of these things. He said, which their fathers taught them. Therefore, thus said the Spirit of God of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood, and give them water, knowledge of gall, to drink, to learn. I will scatter them also among the heathen, whom neither they nor their fathers have known. And I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them. This is what the Most High say he gonna do. We want to walk after our own imagination and teach from our own heart, and walk after Balaam and teach our young people to do the same. He said, I'm going to feed this people with wormwood and give them water of gall to drink. In other words, I'm going to turn you over to a reprobated mind. You won't be able to find your way back home. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 8 down to 18. He said, thus said the Spirit of God, as comparison the new wine is found, in the cluster. And one said, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it. So will I do for my servants' sake, that I may not destroy them all. And I will bring forth a seed, not seeds, plural, but a seed out of Jacob, and out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains. And mine elect shall inherit it. That means this seed is going to be a people with one mind, one doctrine, one God, one faith, one baptism. They're going to be in oneness with Christ. He said, mine elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell there. And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks. In the valley of Acre, a place for the herds to lie down in. For my people that have sought me. But ye are they that forsake the Spirit of God. All the others that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto that number. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Therefore thus said the Creator Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat. They're going to learn, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. He's showing the difference between that plumb line. I'm going to make sure they get what they need. They going to be able to feed at the table. They're going to be able to drink from our well. This is what's going to go down. He said, behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For the Creator Yahweh shall slay thee, and call his servants by another name, that he who blessed himself in the earth shall be blessed himself in the God of truth. And he that swear in the earth shall swear by the God of truth, because the former troubles are forgotten, and because they are hid from mine eyes. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. This is what he have created. And let's get some more information on that note in Revelations chapter 21. Verse 1 and 2. He said, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. See, we getting some more intel on what he just told us right here in Isaiah 65. Getting some more information. He just said in verse 17 and 18, he said, for behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come to mind. This is what we just saw in Revelation. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, in her people a joy. Second Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 9. He says, for Esau is the end of the world, the ways of the flesh. And including Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. The ones that's living according to the spirit of truth, and not the ways of the flesh, following after the flesh. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1 through 12. He says, I therefore, the prisoner of the Creator, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. One Creator, one faith, one baptism, just as is one seed that he's going to bring forth out of Jacob. He say one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. So we know God is our guide. We know the Spirit of God is our God, according to Exodus. Christ, Jehovah. And matter of fact, being that I brought that up, let me go over there, because somebody might say, what he's talking about. So let's go there. So I'm going to hit, I'll start at verse 3. Exodus chapter 6 and verse 3. He says, and I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty. But by my name Jehovah, meaning what? Christ, was I not known to them. And I have also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their pilgrimage, when they were strangers. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage. And I have remembered my covenant. Wherefore, saying to the children of Israel, I am the Spirit of God, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with a stretched out arm and with great judgments, doctrine, and teachings. And I will take you to me for a people, and I will be to you a God. This is why I said what I said over in Ephesians, that the Spirit of God is our God. This is why I said what I said. He said, I am the Spirit of God, and I will be to you a God, meaning what? A guide. And ye shall know that I am the Spirit of your God. which bringeth you out from under the burden of the Egyptians. So I just had to go there to clean that up. That way, when somebody say, did he just get through saying the Spirit of God is our God? What kind of mess is that? Now you see where I'm pulling this information from. That's why it's so important to know those first 5 books. Those first 5 books is the foundation. So that's why he said one Lord, one Creator, one faith, one baptism, one God, one God, Jehovah, and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ. Wherefore he said, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. Now earlier, I had you to write down that word descended. When it said the Lord descended. This is the reason why I had you to write it down, because he's telling us now that he ascended. What is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth? He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. So we saw in the first 5 books that the Lord, the Spirit of God, descended when he was speaking to Moses in Mount Sinai. And matter of fact, I'm gonna go there. Let me just go there and just pull that little piece, that little line of scripture, because we got some hard-headed folks in Israel. So I'm gonna just go there. Right here in verse 5, and the Lord, the Spirit of God, descended in the cloud. The Spirit of God descended. But you got Christians telling you that it was the man Jesus that went up. It was the man Jesus that ascended. But he's telling us in the scripture, let's get there, the one that descended is the same that ascended. He said, now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth? He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. So we clearly know it was the Spirit of God that ascended back up in the book of Acts. Not the man, the fleshly man, Jesus. And even to prove the point, this is not in my teaching, but to prove the point even more, we go right here in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and come down to verse 50. He say, now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, neither do it corruption inherit incorruption. Flesh and blood cannot ascend up. Only the Spirit can. Only the Spirit can. But that's just a side note. But being that I was there, I wanted to get that information out. Now, verse 11 says, and he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. Exodus chapter 18, 19 down to 23. He says, hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and Yahweh shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to guard word, that thou mayest bring the causes unto Yahweh. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men. That's these same one, right, that we just saw in Ephesians. These able men, the key word for these able men is it's right here. These some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors, and some teachers. These able men, back to Exodus 18. Verse 21, he said, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear, meaning such as desire Yahweh, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers, meaning what? To be leaders of thousands, and leaders of hundreds, leaders of 50s, and leaders of 10s. And let them teach the people at all seasons, at all times. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. Even as I look at this verse right here, it's a similitude of what we have going even on today. We have on Wednesday night, we have the round table with the deacons. And people can come submit their questions. Deacon Martin and the deacons get together and they answer those questions. A lot of time I get personal emails from different ones, and I know the other elders get personal emails too, and they answer those questions. Then on the Sabbath, after the teaching, Elder Johnson actually opens up the back in Zoom, a platform where anyone and everyone can come and ask their questions about the message, or they might just have a random question. That is the place where you can ask your questions. And he will use the scriptures to give you your answers. So will the rest of us. And so even as I'm looking at this verse, I'm seeing it. It says, and let them teach the people at all times, and it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee. Because sometimes questions may be a lot more deeper, and it calls somebody is a lot more skillful in the word. But then it says, but every small matter they shall judge, they shall teach. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. So we still all working together in unity. He said, if thou shalt do this thing, and Yahweh command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So in other words, it ain't just for one person to do all of the work. Just imagine we got teachings going out 7 days a week. And what if one person had to do all the teachings, answer all of the emails, answer all of the questions, I know their heart and mind would be willing to do it. I know this. But he's given wisdom on how you do this thing to where you don't wear yourself out. And everyone can share the burden, bear the burden together. He said, if thou shalt do this thing, and Yahweh command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure. And all this people shall also go to their place in peace. Ephesians chapter 4. And we'll pick it back up at verse 13 down to 16. So as the people go to their place in peace, he say, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, the servant of God, unto a perfect man, male or female, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love, may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, make it increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 5. He said, I will get me unto the great men and will speak unto them. For they have known the way of the Spirit of God and the judgment, the doctrine and teaching of their God. However, but these have altogether broken the yoke and burst the bonds. He's still showing a representation of that mixed multitude. Amos chapter 7. Verse 7 through 9. Thus he showed me, and behold, the Creator stood upon a wall made by a plumb line, with a plumb line in his hand. And the Spirit of God said unto me, Amos, what seest thou? And I said, a plumb line. Then said the Creator, behold, I will set a plumb line in the midst of my people Israel. I will not again pass by them anymore. And the high places of Isaac shall be desolate, and the sanctuaries of Israel shall be laid waste. And I will arise against the house of Jeroboam with the sword. So he's being clear on what he's going to do as he set this plumb line. You got this mixed multitude. You got some believers and some unbelievers, but he gonna deal with these unbelievers, these ones that's not following his way. Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 6 down to 31. He said, wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Everyone that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces. Because their transgressions are many and their backslidings are increased. How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me and sworn by them that are no gods, when I had fed them to the full. They then committed adultery and assembled themselves by troops in the harlot houses, in these church houses. They were as fed horses with their own private interpretation in the morning. Everyone need after his neighbor's wife. Shall I not visit for these things? You just falling after every spirit it is. Your neighbor got this spirit and this mindset and this imagination, and you just kneeling down at their path, having the same desire of your neighbor. He said, and shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? Go ye up upon her walls and destroy, but make not a full end. Take away her battlements, for they are not the Spirit of God's. They're not none of mine. Take it away. That covering they got is not my covering. For the house of Israel and the house of Judah have dealt very treacherously against me, said the Spirit of God. They have belied the Spirit of God and said, it is not he. Neither shall evil come upon us, neither shall we see sword nor famine. And the prophets shall become wind, and the word is not in them. Ain't no word in them. They ain't preaching for money. They teaching for hire and judging for reward. Thus shall it be done unto them. Wherefore thus said the Spirit of God of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words and thy mouth fire. And this people wood, and it shall devour them. Lo, I will bring a nation upon you from far, O house of Israel, said the Spirit of God. It is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation, a nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understandest what they say. Their quiver is an open sepulchre. They are almighty men, and they shall eat up thine harvest and thy bread, which thy sons and thy daughters shall eat. The things that we should be learning, they're going to soak it up and consume it. They shall eat up the flocks and thy herds. They shall eat up thy vines and thy fig trees. They shall impoverish thy fenced cities wherein thou trusted with the sword. Nevertheless, in those days, said the Spirit of God, I will not make a full end with you. Still going to bring forth this seed out of Jacob. And it shall come to pass when ye shall say, wherefore doeth the Spirit of God, our God, all these things unto us, then shalt thou answer them, like as ye have forsaken me, and serve strange gods in your land, so shall ye serve strangers in a land that is not yours. Declare this in the house of Jacob, and publish it in Judah, saying, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Fear ye not me? You don't fear me? You don't desire me? Said the Spirit of God. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it, and though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over. You don't fear me? But this people have a revolting and rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone. Neither say they in their heart, let us now desire the Spirit of God, our God, that giveth rain both the former and the latter in his season. He reserved unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. Your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap. They catch men as a cage is full of birds. So are their houses full of deceit. Therefore they are become great and waxing rich. They are fat. They shine. Yea, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause. They don't teach what they should be teaching. The cause of the fatherless, yet they prosper. And the right of the needy do they not teach. But they still prospering because they want their money. Shall I not visit for these things, said the Spirit of God? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation, a people as this? A wonderful and terrible thing is committed in the land, in the nation, in the people. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means. By their own means. They raising this money because for their own means, they got to have this special love offering. Being rule leadership by their means. And my people love to have it so. Oh yeah, we gonna give pastor what they ask for because they some good people and they our leaders. They teach us the word, and so whatever they need, we gonna make sure they get it. I don't care if I got to take out a loan, I'm gonna get it. If he need a jet, he gonna get a jet. He said, my people love to have it so. And what will ye do in the end thereof? So foolish nation. He's telling you right in the word, and you won't even crack the book open. He's telling you the prophets prophesy falsely. This is the reason why you seeing and you hearing me speak this word straight from the book. These other prophets, they gonna sit there and gonna tell you a story. They gonna try to inspire you. They gonna try to motivate you. They gonna try to make you laugh. They gonna try to preach you happy. They gonna try to hoop and holler. They gonna try to make you shout for joy, and they're not cracking the book open. He said the prophets prophesy falsely. And the priests bear rule, they bear leadership by their means. They got their own ulterior motives. You ain't getting nothing but straight book. You ain't getting nothing but straight word here. Take it or leave it. Oh, I don't like that type of teaching. It's too boring. All he doing is reading the scriptures. Well, go right on ahead wherever you want to go. The word of God is being spoken. Choose wisely. He already told us he put a plumb line in the midst of his people, Israel. That mighty stone is a tried stone. And the ones who choose the wrong side of the plumb line is going to get caught up. They want a feel good message. They want somebody to tickle them and make them laugh so they can feel good. They want somebody to make them shout. Go right ahead, playing up with your flesh. Micah 6:8, he said, he have showed thee, O man, O male and female, what is good. And what doeth the Spirit of God require of thee? But to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. He done showed you now. He done showed you. 1 Samuel chapter 12, verse 24 and 25. He says, only fear, meaning only desire the Spirit of God and serve him in truth with all your heart. For consider how great things he have done for you. But however, if ye shall still do wickedly, ye shall be consumed. Both ye and your king, you and your leader, you and your pastor, you and your prophet, or whoever, whatever title they calling themselves. Ye and your king. Psalms chapter 15, verse 1 through 2. Spirit of God, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly and worketh unrighteous. Let me make that correction. He that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart. This is the one. Psalms 145, 18 through 21. The Spirit of God is nigh unto all them that call upon him. To all that call upon him in truth. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him, or that desire him. He also will hear their cry and will save them. The Spirit of God preserveth all them that love him, but all the wicked will he destroy. My mouth shall speak the praise, the confessions of the Spirit of God, and let all flesh bless his holy name, his holy way forever and ever. Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 19. He said, the lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Proverbs 22, 17 down to 21. Bow down thine ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee. They shall withal be fitted in thy lips, that thy trust may be in the Spirit of God. I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. Have not I written to thee excellent things and counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee to know the certainty of the words of truth, that thou mightest answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee? So you'll be able to give answer when someone asks you a question. Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 2 through 9. Thus said the Spirit of God, the maker thereof, the Spirit of God that formed it to establish it. The Spirit of God is his name. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. For thus said the Spirit of God, the God of Israel, concerning the houses of this city. the tribes of this people. And concerning the houses of the kings of Judah, which are thrown down by the mounts and by the sword, they come to fight with the Chaldeans. But it is to fill them with the dead bodies of men, whom I have slain in mine anger and in my fury, and for all whose wickedness I have hid my face from this city. Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth. And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first. And I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me. And I will pardon all their iniquities, whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise, and an honor before all the nations of the earth, which shall hear all the good that I do unto them. And they shall fear and tremble for all the goodness and for all the prosperity that I procure unto it. First address. Chapter 4 and verse 38 down to 40. He says, as for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. With her there is no accepting of persons or rewards. But she doeth the things that are just, and refraineth from all unjust and wicked things. And all men do well like of her works. Neither in her judgment, her doctrine and teaching is any unrighteousness. And she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth. Second Esdras, chapter 8, and verse 20 down to 54. He says, O Creator, thou that dwellest in everlastings, which beholdeth from above things in the heaven and in the air, whose throne is inestimable, whose glory may not be comprehended, before whom the hosts of angels stand with trembling, whose service is conversant in wind and fire, whose word is true and sayings constant, whose commandment is strong and ordinance fearful, whose look drieth up the depths and indignation maketh the mountains to melt away, which the truth witnesseth. Oh, hear the prayer of thy servant and give ear to the petition of thy creature. For while I live, I will speak, and so long as I have understanding, I will answer. Oh, look not upon the sins of thy people, but on them which serve thee in truth. Regard not the wicked inventions of the heathen, but the desire of those that keep thy testimonies in afflictions. Think not upon those that have walked fingely before thee, but remember them which according to thy will have known thy fear, thy desire. Let it not be thy will to destroy them which have lived like beasts, but to look upon them that have clearly taught thy law. Take thou no indignation at them which are deemed worse than beasts, but love them that always put their trust in thy righteousness and glory. For we and our fathers do language of such diseases. But because of us sinners, thou shalt be called merciful. For if thou hast a desire to have mercy upon us, thou shalt be called merciful to us, namely, that have no works of righteousness. For the just, which have many good works laid up with thee, shall out of their own deeds, out of their own works, receive reward. For what is man, that thou shouldest take displeasure at him? Or what is a corruptible generation, that thou shouldest be so bitter toward it? For in truth, them is no man among them that be born, but he have dealt wickedly. And among the faithful there is none which have not done amiss. For in this, O Creator, thy righteousness and thy goodness shall be declared, if thou be merciful unto them which have not the confidence of good works. Then answered he me and said, some things hast thou spoken aright, and according unto thy words it shall be. For indeed I will not think on the disposition of them which have sinned before death, before judgment, before destruction. Wow. Man, that's deep. He said he's not even going to think on the disposition of them which have sinned before that second death. He's not going to think on them before that judgment come down. He's not going to think on them before they destroy. That's deep. He said, but however, I will rejoice over the disposition of the righteous. So basically what he's saying, it is what it is. And I will remember also their pilgrimage and the salvation and the reward that they shall have. Like as I have spoken now, so shall it come to pass. It is what it is. For as the husbandman sowed much seed upon the ground, and planted many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season cometh not up, neither do it all that is planted take root. Even so is it of them that are sown in the world. They shall not all be saved. I answered then and said, if I have found grace, let me speak. Like as the husbandman seed perisheth, if it come not up and receive not thy rain in due season, or if there come too much rain and corrupt it, even so perish man also, which is formed with thy hands and is called thine own image, because thou art like unto him, for whose sake thou hast made all things, and liken him unto the husbandman's seed. Be not wroth with us, but spare thy people, and have mercy upon thine own inheritance. For thou art merciful unto thy creature. Then answered he me and said, things present are for the present, and things to come, and things to come it for such as be to come. For thou comest far short that thou shouldest be able to love my creature more than I. But I have oftentimes drawn nigh unto thee and unto it, but never to the unrighteous. Wow. Matter of fact, Elder Lynn taught a teaching earlier this week, was saying about how the sinners' prayers would not be heard. And this is the perfect example right here. He said, I have oftentimes drawn nigh unto thee and unto it, but never to the unrighteous. And this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, in that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. He says, for unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared. Plenteous is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed, yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. The root of evil is sealed up from you, weakness and the mouth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. Sorrows are past, and in the end is showed the treasure of immortality. Keyword is treasure. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 down to 24. He says, lay not up for yourself treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But however, lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye, is the understanding. If therefore thine understanding be single, the whole body shall be full of light, meaning the whole body shall be full of truth. You got this one understanding or this one doctrine of the Most High. But if thine understanding be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. It'll be void of the truth. If therefore the light, the truth that is in thee, be darkness, how great is that darkness? Wow. That means you got the worldly wisdom, the worldly knowledge, and not the one that comes from above. He says, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve Yahweh and Mammon. You cannot serve them both at the same time. It's impossible. Second Esdras, chapter 8, verse 55 down to 63. He says, and therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish, because they gonna perish. For when they had taken liberty, freedom, they despised, spoke evil of the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous, and said in their heart that there is no God, yea, and that knowing they must die. For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught, but they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them. He gave us this life, knew us before we came out of our mother's womb, but they was unthankful. He said, and therefore is my judgment now at hand. And these things have I not showed unto all men, Because all men don't even carry in the complete Bible, with their apocrypha included. He said, but unto thee, and a few like thee. Then answered I and said, behold, O Creator, now hast thou showed me the multitude of the wonders which thou wilt begin to do in the last times. But at what time thou hast not showed me? 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 1 through 8. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, made known, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works, his deeds, and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So family, he's telling us, I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob. We have to make sure we're on the right side of the plumb line. Make sure that we are doing the works that's meet for repentance. Because he clearly showed us all our wrongdoings. And he told us in Exodus chapter 34, in verse 7, that hit verse 6 and 7. And the Spirit of God passed by before them and proclaimed the Spirit of God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, the things that we have done. It's not going to clear that. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children unto the third and to the fourth generation. So family, I'm going to say a happy Sabbath to everyone as we begin this Sabbath morning, and a shalom to everyone till we meet again. Shalom.